All right, we're just gonna try this. I wish I can be like other people, other people that can do this. I really suck at doing this, but today I'm gonna just do like a raw rambling video. I guess that is like a raw hate. I'm not gonna edit anything. I'm gonna just keep it real and 100. But today, if you don't know, just yesterday I put out a video talking about the thing that I'll be doing for the next 22 days, and that's basically just putting out a video every single day, while also doing what's it called, the 22 push-ups a day. Now basically what this is for, if you don't know, is for US soldiers. About around every 22 days another US soldier commits suicide, so it's basically bringing awareness to other people, to the world, also to veterans like myself. You know, you also got to make sure that even though I'm out of the army, that's one thing that I hold very clear, very near, close and dear to my heart, is being a veteran. You know, it's always looking out for battle buddies. Just because we got out the military doesn't mean that we still don't have, you know, the nightmares that you see on TV, that are a lot of people going through things. Adjusting to regular life is hard. It's very difficult, and that's kind of what I wanted to talk about today, but also mix that in with Germany. So like I said before, this is going to be like, I'm not editing this video, so you can literally see how much fluff I say and how much I cut my video when I make them. But we're just gonna do it to you raw today because, you know, why not? But basically, if you don't know my story, a couple of years ago, after, you know, in the beginning when I was becoming I don't want to say man, but I was becoming a young man, I got in a lot of trouble at home, decided to join the military, changed my life, blase squaze, did all that stuff, deployed, came back, and I wanted to leave the country, just go anywhere besides America, like absolutely anywhere. That was like my second best decision. Third best decision that I did was coming to Germany. Oh, you see what I did there? So the third decision that I made was coming to Germany. After being here, I decided to get out the military, and I took this time for about 2 years, 2.5 years on a hiatus, just traveling everywhere, just traveling as much as I can, because I couldn't do it before, because the world at that time was just such a closed box, such a like my head wasn't in the game. It was not in the game, and I just felt like I gotta make sure we're recording, because if I don't, I'm gonna be super pissed. All right, but my head just wasn't in the game, and I didn't have focus on anything. I didn't have a focus. I didn't have a grasp on life. Like not no education, but I don't know. I just wasn't where I wanted to be in life at that time. And after a couple of years of soul searching and looking around and rummaging, and I'm not saying this just because I live in Germany now, I decided to live in Germany because at the time it was the best decision for myself, and still it really is. So really on this point, I kind of want to talk a little bit about the mental health side of things for me personally, and why I feel that this 22 days, this 22 push-up challenge, recognition of suicide, with, you know, not only just veterans, but just with everybody in general, is so important, because it's a topic. It's not light and fluffy, but I kind of like to make things light and fluffy, so I'm gonna make it as fluffy as I can. But it's definitely a serious topic to talk about. So for me, there's really like 5 factors that played a huge part in my mental health and my distress and my stress of living in Germany. So the first one is basically I had to do it on my own. Now, what I mean by this is not that I had to like go to the office on my own and put in the paperwork. Like everybody, you have to do that if you want to like live somewhere or do something. But what I mean is, you know, in my niche that I'm in, like the American in Germany niche, in my perspective, there's a lot of people that have other people as backbone. You know, certain people have boyfriends or girlfriends that live in Germany that help them. Some people are part of sports teams that live here and help them. Some people are on, you know, holidays, or they're on, what is that thing called? On what is it called? Oh yeah, a foreign exchange program, which helped them kind of live in Germany. Some of them still, you know, work with the military or whatever. And not to say distraught from those people, because everybody's going through stuff, but at the time when I chose to live in Germany, I didn't have any support system. Like, I had no friends that lived here. I didn't have a girlfriend or a wife. A lot of people ask me about that. Like, how do you live in Germany? Are you married? No, I'm not married. I didn't have a wife or somebody to lean on and help me, that like a support system. It was a really hard process, and having to figure out these things all on my own. I don't know, I guess one of the hugest parts also is living in a small city, which made it even harder. You know, I just took a trip to Berlin, and I see like so many people talk English and other different languages there. It made me feel as if, you know, I could have basically done what I wanted to do on my own, because a lot of people would understand me. But living in a smaller city in Germany, you know, not everybody is going to speak English, and you're kind of expected to learn. If you go down to the Rathaus and you want to ask for something, you should probably be speaking German or come with somebody that speaks German. And it was a huge process for me. I was nervous every single day trying to talk to the Rathaus or job center about whatever it was, and having to do all these things on my own took a real toll on my personal mental health. Like, I was always stressed. I felt like it wasn't enough. There was a point in time, I think it was like 5-6 months, that I was just like, you know what, I'm gonna just leave Germany, because I cannot do this on my own. You know, I just cannot sit down, focus. I don't have a support group. I didn't know about any Facebook groups or people that were in the same situation that were willing to help me. So it was really, I had to do all this on my own, and that was a huge burden. The second thing is kind of in the relevance of that, is I have no friends or family here. So when I say this, in the military, you know, it was totally different. I had all these people. I had, you know, all this chain of command that I could talk to, all my soldiers, all these other soldiers, all these different people that I can always go to their places. I really never had to worry about anything. But as soon as I got out the military, as soon as I got out the military, all that stops. It stops. It's done. You know, like, basically, I was supposed to go home. I was supposed to go back to America, but I didn't. I chose to stay here. And as soon as you cut those ties, you know, if anybody has experienced being in the military, it's a dope family when you're in it. But as soon as you're out of it, like, you're no part of it. Like, none. Like, I can't get on base here. I can't just roll up to the American base and be like, yo, fam, like, I'm American, G, let me in. They're like, no, like, you're not a part of this anymore. It's basically like I was the stepchild, and as soon as I got 18, it was like, get out of my house. You can't come back home. It's basically how it was. And the same thing being said, you know, I had a very limited amount of friends here, and it was difficult for me at that time, you know, and it's crazy. It's like, even now, I don't have a huge group of friends, but I know, you know, after the years of going through the things that I'm going through, kind of changing my mindset a little bit, shoot, you are probably more of a friend than 98% of the people that I know by name and have on my friends book list. I was gonna say friends book. That made me sound like I was 90 years old. But you were probably more of a friend than 90% of the people on my Facebook list. Like, that's just how it is for me. And at the time, it was difficult, but it was something that I had to get used to. The third thing is the cultural differences. Now, there's so many videos in this. I could tell you about it, but I have videos about the cultural differences. You can check it out over here. Yeah, you can check it out over here. Or you can check out any of the other amazing YouTubers that have made content on this. But the reason why I think a lot of people make these videos is that it's something that you wouldn't think about, or you wouldn't think it was a big deal unless you're going through it. So I know when I went to the States last year, which I will also be going again next year, which I got collaboration ideas. Help me out. If you got some ideas for me when I get to the States of what I should do, let me know. But when I went to the States for my mom's birthday or something, I can't remember, the reverse culture shock is crazy. It is absolutely crazy. And even coming here, feeling that culture shock not for the first time, but feeling that culture shock for such a long period of time, it weighed in on me heavily. You know what I'm saying? Like, at that time when I first was coming to live in Germany, I was in and out of country every 3 months. You know what I mean? I didn't really stay long. I was like pew 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 pew, flying all over the place. But making the conscious decision to come here and live here, and actually staying here and like having to abide by the laws and live the German way of life, it took me a while. It took me a long while to just get used to it. It took me a long time. Still kind of getting used to it. There's certain things I just like, I just want to, like, that one American, there's like so many American things I want to do, but when you living in it every single day, it's heavy, you know what I'm saying? And you don't realize it if you're already here. Like, if you're German and you live in Germany, you're not really gonna experience it. If you're American and you live in America, you're not gonna experience the culture shock because you're in the culture, you know what I mean? But when you go to the next place, when you realize that thing that you usually do at your own home, you can't really do here, or that's frowned upon, or doing that is kind of weird, and it changes your makeup on the inside a little bit. You know, I know a lot of my other YouTubers can contest to this, but getting used to it is a process. And at the time, you know, it was very hard for me to do. That also brings me into my fourth point, is missing home. So when I was traveling, when I was doing new things, different things every day, I didn't really miss home a lot. You know, there's only 2 people in my home, Florida, you know, that I really miss like that. You know, I'm pretty much a loner in life, but there's only a couple people that I miss. There's only like one place that I can call home if I went to America. But the thing is, when I came here, I stayed here, after going through those culture shocks, there's like 1 or 2 things that I just started to miss. I was like, man, I wish I just, you know, just talking about it with other people. Do you know how bad I just want to wake up at 2 o'clock in the morning and go get breakfast for dinner? I don't even know if that's dinner, but I just want to go somewhere and get breakfast at 2 o'clock in the morning or 5 o'clock in the afternoon. Whenever I get breakfast, whenever I want in America, whenever I want. And it's a weird small thing. It's a very small thing to a lot of people, but in my eyes, like, not having that option makes it huge. It makes it absolutely huge. And it made me miss home a lot. There's a lot of other small things that I can talk about, but missing home is a real thing. You know, if you're not from a culture, if you're not from a place and you decide to move to a different place, it's only natural that you're going to miss home. And, you know, fighting with this a little bit, not to say that I would get depressed or sad about it, but it would play in my mind a little bit. And it's something super serious for a lot of other people. I know I can deal with it probably a little better because I'm so used to, like, not being, I don't even know what home is. Like, for so many years, I just lived out of a suitcase anyway. But it's huge if you let it play a part in your life and don't really talk about it. Luckily, I have you guys to do that. And the last thing I want to say are the lifestyle differences. Now, when I say this, it's the culture thing is a little bit different. When I say lifestyle differences, I'm talking about I don't even know what to say. Like, my lifestyle here in Germany is totally different than what it is in America. There are certain things that I wouldn't do that just, I don't even know how to put it. Just for example, my personal thing is driving. Really not being able to drive, waiting too long for the driver's license, whatever, for the Führerschein, and not really being able to drive in Germany. I had to change my entire lifestyle, because in America, like, I've literally had, like, since I was 18, I think every year I've had at least at one time like 2 or 3 cars, just because I can, just because I'm from Florida and you got to drive everywhere. You cannot, if you don't have a car in Florida, or if you can't drive, you're stuck at home. There's no trains, there's no buses like that. You're staying home. So I always had a car. I was always driving. But here in Germany, everything is super different for me. The whole lifestyle had to change, my whole thought process, my whole mindset, and it could weigh on me. It used to weigh on me heavily. It used to weigh on me so much that I wanted to leave Germany just because I couldn't drive here, and I refused to pay. But after, you know, months of hammering certain things in my head, making different arrangements where I can still get what I wanted to do accomplished without driving. You know, I've had electric skateboard, electric bike. I've had everything electric that you can ride. I had to change my entire mindset. And without those things going, you know, without working on those things on my own, or having other people to help me work on these things, it could have been a total different stressor. Like, I could be literally stressed out like crazy every single day, but I chose not to. I chose to pick a higher path, or be more optimistic about my opportunities here in Germany instead of so pessimistic, and think about all the things that I can't do, how it's so much different. But it's important to remember these things, you know, for people that have whatever, I don't want to say feelings, but that are dealing with stress and don't really know how to manage it. Luckily for me, I was able to go through the military, and, you know, there's a lot of classes that we take like every year. There's so many different classes, but there's a million ones that you would take, and the ones that I've always favored are the ones about personal development, and I paid a lot of attention in those. So I've always tried to do my best to personally develop myself, but everybody doesn't have the ability to do this. Everybody is, I don't know how to say it, not in a negative light, but if you or someone you know is having trouble dealing with these certain stressors in their life, you know, just to show them this, you are not alone. You know, I've dealt with this stuff for I don't know how long, but, you know, it's a constant struggle. It's a constant battle every single day. So, you know, if you're feeling bad or something, just think about how much my life sucks. Yeah, I don't know. But we are going to try to do our best. I'm not going to cut this. Please don't let me cut this video. I'm not going to cut this video. I'm not going to cut it. All right. But with that being said, we're going to now do the 22 push-ups to show some awareness for the 22 military veterans that die every single day by suicide. And don't judge my area because I got to clean it up. And there'll be a vlog tomorrow. I'm sorry about this. Don't look at my butt. Yeah, whatever. Okay. What? Okay. Is that? All right. Whew. All right. So this is Kris with Soldier of Life. That's all I got for you guys today. I'll see you tomorrow. Don't remember the new hashtag is hashtag Black Casey. I'm coming for the title. All right. See you in the next one. Peace.